Hi, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for being on Earth School with me and all of us. This is the You're Too Sensitive podcast, where I like to explore the beauty and the hardship of being such a sensitive human in this modern day world. I'm so grateful to be so sensitive, and it's so annoying at times. I just learned, and I can't quite believe I didn't know this before. Did you know that when we cry, we release cortisol from our tears and other stress hormones? Look it up. It's true. Maybe you already knew. I'm just on the lay boat here. But as soon as I heard that, tears of my own came to my eyes, because I thought to myself, oh, she's so freaking precious. She has her ways, this body has her ways of dealing with life. I don't feel like she's quite caught up to the modern intensity, for good reason. But she has her ways of releasing cortisol and stress. It's just we live in a world that is filled with cortisol elevators and stress elevators. And so we need even extra help, in my opinion, especially if you're a sensitive human like me. We can get all the help we can get, but how precious. And then you think about our culture that is so embarrassed and associates such negativity towards tears. I used to always ask, why do people apologize when they start crying? And it used to really frustrate me, but then I realized people do it because they're afraid of making other people uncomfortable. So really, it's really, kind of sweet when people apologize for their tears, although I wish they wouldn't. I don't. But it's also because they understand that someone crying is not something we really know how to hold space for in our culture. It's uncomfortable. And, that's my dog. Moon, do you have something to say? Come here. I had the doors open this morning, and you can hear all the dogs walking by, and he likes to let me know with his barks that other dogs are walking by. But I have the doors open this morning, y'all. Okay, it's Sunday morning at, what time is it? It's 6:22. And it's 55 degrees out. Oh my gosh. When I started this podcast, I was sweating profusely with my air conditioning off. The air conditioning does not need to be on right now. The doors of my home are open. I'm up in my loft, which is awesome. You probably know, but I'm recovering from a double hernia surgery that I got on Monday. So just about 6 days ago. And I wasn't sure if I was going to record this podcast. I tried on Friday. I tried yesterday on Saturday. And I was like, I guess this week is going to be a no podcast week. And really, that's okay. I don't have that many listeners. I don't make any money with this. But then I thought of the few of you that do listen in. And I know you enjoy this. So this is for you. This is for the few of you that tune in and that this little space means something for you. It's an honor to be here. And so I made my way up my loft, which I was really proud. I can walk up the stairs, but I've been in a lot of pain, y'all. It's been a lot of pain, the way the pain affects my body. I get really dizzy and a little discombobulated. But I have some really juicy nuggets on top of mine that I really want to share too before I forget. So it's kind of like a verbal diary, journal, if you will. So a few things I would like to cover today include my observing my continued addiction with food. And even if you don't struggle with addictions to food, I think that you'll find something relatable within it. And also I've been with my husband now for it's been a week and a half straight. it is by far the longest time we've spent together in a really long time in consecutive days. And just witnessing my asshole, we'll call her Becky. I think my inner asshole, her name is Becky, and my inner critic, her name is Stacy. My highest self, she's just love. But Becky is such a little asshole to my husband. And watching her come online, I'm like, oh, Bex, you've been kind of asleep because we don't have my husband in my house a lot of the time. But when he is, oh my goodness, Bex comes online and sets him straight about how he's not loading the dishwasher properly. And about how he gets my kitchen so dirty. Poor guy. I say and just like I was saying last week, we're not responsible for our first reaction. Often it's out of our control. We are responsible for our second response. Not responsible for the first reaction. It's just human shit. We are responsible for the second response. So Bex comes online. I say some really petty shit that I don't even align with. It's almost like it comes out before I even have a hold of what I'm saying. And then it comes out, I'm like, oh my goodness. And I have to like kind of blink and take a breath. I'm sorry, babe. I'm sorry I'm being so hypervigilant of your activities in my kitchen while you cook for me and clean and take care of me, because I can't do crap diddly right now in my condition. And here I am on the sidelines micromanaging you in my kitchen. Oh my goodness. Bex, sit down, girl. It's okay. It's okay if messes are made in the kitchen, girl. Sit down. But again, like the way I talk to those parts is not like, oh, what's wrong with you? I thought I was over this, you know. It's just curiosity and more than anything, a little bit of humor. Like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, there you are. I hadn't seen you in a while, Bex, but it's nice to see you again. I'm glad to know you're still there. Glad to know I haven't completely risen out of the petty bull crap. My goodness. Oh my. This being human, I'll tell you what. So, yeah, those are the kind of the two things I kind of want to cover. Because specifically with this food thing, I have so much compassion for this food addiction. And if my use of words like addiction are triggering for you, that's totally valid. I used to as me as well. And I am not in 12-step, but I want to begin because I'm so curious about it. 12-step for overeating and the Overeaters Anonymous, just because I would love to be a part of a group. But I feel like I have a pretty good control and I'm very connected to spirit, to my own spirituality. I'm guided by Mother Nature, so I feel very supported in my recovery with food. For lack of better words, like those are just the words that fit for right now, but words always evolve for me. But I've been sitting with and being curious with my addiction to food for a very long time, and I kind of wanted to share the little journey of it to see where you might see yourself in it with either food or anything else. And the thing is, I used to be very, very, like 5 years ago, I would have been like, I'm not a food addict. Food's not a drug. Because I was very much into the intuitive eating movement, which I love, and I'm going to touch on that. But the thing is, it's okay. I am a food addict. And the way that I, can say that with compassion, and the reason it helps me personally, and it might not help you, but the reason it helps me is not because I'm trying to label myself. I don't see myself as this quote unquote addict. I see that this is an area in my life where it's kind of like my hernia. It's like a weaker spot that things can push through that I rather not push through. I've used food for a very long time, minimally 3.5 decades, minimally, probably more like 4 decades, like a drug. Now, it took me a while to really understand and to separate, because I was in the wellness sector. I really was into raw veganism for a while, and really into quote, quote, healthy eating. And I really demonized food for quite a while. And then I swung to the other pendulum of like, food's innocent. There's no morality in food, which is true. There is no morality. Sugar is innocent. French fries are innocent. Food is innocent. But more curious for me is, why have I used food so long to bring me comfort? What am I trying to avoid? And so that really what to me being a food addict is it reminds me, with my hand to my heart and my shoulders soft and my feet to my earth, yeah, baby girl, things around food are a little tricky. Okay, I'm just bring awareness there. I don't even need to fix anything, because there is nothing to fix. There's nothing to fix, but there is opportunity for awareness. And honestly, I don't like when I overeat. I don't feel well. It makes my belly very gassy. It's very uncomfortable. I would like to tend to whatever's pushing me to eat beyond what I need, to eat more sugar than I need, and tend to that, so that can be peaceful. And then I can return to a more regulated, in tune rhythm of eating. But see, I don't even want to say I want to heal my relationship with food. Like, that doesn't work for me either. No. I desire to continue to heal those things that I so desperately wish to avoid within myself. And I'm really grateful. This makes me teary. I'm so grateful I'm not using heroin or something harder. Bless the folks that do need to use those things. But I'm so grateful that I'm using something that is so precious, like food. And it makes things complicated. Being addicted to food is tricky, because unlike heroin and alcohol, we need food to survive. So how do we find balance and peace with something we need to do every day? Food is a tricky one when we use it as a cover-up for the deeper hardships, because it's something we need. We can't just expel it completely from our life. So you can tell, maybe you can tell, I'm really passionate talking about food, because it's just been such a long journey, and I'm still on it. That's why I'm talking about it here. 46 years old, post double hernia surgery, still diving into the depths of why I use food to cover up the uncomfortable parts of being human, with so much tenderness and compassion. Not, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you figured this out yet? Because that's multidimensional. And in my case, and I know this for sure, and then you might want to roll your eyes when you hear me say this, it's ancestral for me. I come from strange eating behaviors. I come from famine survivors. I come from very disordered, I just felt that in my whole body. Yeah, disordered way of relating with food and worth and hunger. So, yay, let's dive in. So, one of my earliest memories is adults commenting on the amount that I ate. I ate a lot of food. I was a big eater. As a baby, I ate everything. And I remember being so young and feeling a lot of pride, because adults would praise me for eating so well. Oh, Jade eats everything. And I was just like, yes. So I took a lot of pride in the fact that I ate everything, and I ate a lot of it. And I was the opposite of a picky eater. I was like, give it to me, I'll take it. And I developed pride around that, which I think is a little, beginning of disordered relationship with food. I loved being praised for finishing my plate when other people would get in trouble. Other kids would get in trouble for not finishing their food. And so that was from the get-go, like, Jade is such a good eater. But then I remember starting to get awareness of the women around me and how they always were talking about how fat they were and how ugly and how fat so-and-so was. And I just noticed a lot of commentary around bodies and the amount of food that people ate, which was really confusing because I felt like I was praised for eating a lot. And then all these other women, adults, are like being super judged, excuse me, for the amount of food that they eat and how their bodies look. I remember it took me a while to even realize I was in a body. I didn't even understand it. I think my spirit, she's so, yeah, my spirit is this. Have you ever sat and wondered what your spirit is like without your body? Mine is this, she vibrates and she doesn't really want to come down into the body. It took some time. It took some time before I realized I was even in this body. I think I really landed once I moved to Yalapa in Mexico because there's so much intensity and trauma and yelling and scary situations, living situations when I was little. I think my spirit was a little afraid to fully come into this body. So anyway, realizing that women were severely judged. And in my mind, I made a mental note, don't be one of them. Don't be one of those big ladies that everyone judges as something's wrong with her. She's beneath everyone. She's someone to laugh at. She's someone to criticize. She's someone to judge her most basic human her most basic human need, which is to eat. So the confusion about my big appetite but being fat really started that started creating my own like 7-year-old understanding, 6-year-old understanding of what that meant. Which made no sense. It's like, I'm not going to be one of them, but I'm going to keep eating and I want to eat all the things. And I think even before the sexual abuse, I think I learned to lean on food for comfort. Like, it just was so comfy. Like, my dad and I, one of my favorite things as a child, because it was so stressful being with my poor daddy, who was always in a state of fight or flight. One of the things we did was we'd get these Klondike ice cream bars. Y'all know those? They're like vanilla ice cream on the inside and chocolate ice cream, hard chocolate ice cream. It's like an ice cream sandwich. But we'd get one of those, and it was a huge treat because it cost money. We'd have no money. And we put one into a little bowl. We only had like 2 bowls in his apartment. And I remember my bowl had like a bear on the inside. And we'd sit down in front of this really old TV, and that was like sitting on top of a huge old TV that was broken. It was just serving as like a TV stand for the other TV and a VCR, and we'd watch The Never-Ending Story together. And we'd sit on the floor, and we'd crack open with a spoon that Klondike bar, and so much comfort, even thinking about it. It's one of the few times it felt so safe to be in those scary apartments. And where I felt my dad was at peace. He loved movies. So, yeah, early on, food equals comfort. What a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing. And so from there, then growing into more of a... And then even during my sexual abuse, food was also a part of it, because I loved the Snicker bars and the Milky Way bars that were in the only refrigerator in the entire village in Mexico where I lived. And if I behaved quote unquote good, he'd give me one. And he also had cold Coca-Cola in the refrigerator, and he would make me my favorite food, which was an egg salad sandwich on French bread, which we didn't get very often because expensive. And so he'd make me egg salad sandwich and put it on French bread. And oh my God, it was just like having to have a cold Coke with a Milky Way. But then I had to do weird ass shit like watch him masturbate. So yeah, as I'm saying this right now, I'm like, wow, yeah, food and weird ass shit and comfort. Wow. So interwoven in just my lifetime. I'm not even talking about my mothers and my grandmothers and my great-grandmothers and my great-great-grandmothers who survived a famine in Holland. And we wonder, why are these things so complex? And so my mom had this beautiful friend and that she had since high school. Her name was Jetta. Love you, Jetta. She's in spirit world now. And she was a big woman. She was definitely like the biggest woman. I wish I could see photos because I don't think she actually was that big. But the way that adults spoke about her was that she was enormous. And so in my kid mind, I was like, oh, Jetta's body is wrong and bad because everyone comments on it. And she would come visit us in Mexico. She lived in Michigan, but she'd come visit us. She had a son who had Down syndrome, who was like a cousin to me. And she would come just by herself. So it was like a little getaway for Jetta. And girl would barely eat. And so that she was like, I was like, how is this? How is this? Everyone's commenting on what a wrong body she has, but girl don't even eat. And I have a letter that I wrote my dad from Yalapa during one of Jetta's visits where I'm bragging about how much I eat because I liked it. Everyone thought, I still have this letter. I have it. I found it after my dad died. He kept a lot of the letters that I wrote to him as a child from Mexico. And in the letter, I'm like bragging about how much I eat. And Dad, I eat more than Jetta. Can you believe it? Especially for a woman like that. I must have only been like 7 when I wrote that. Whoa. How early big bodies were implemented were wrong to me. Not just by my family, but by everyone in Mexico too. Like fatness in that village, anyone who was fat was talked about viciously. Vile. I really feel like words are kind of like casting spells. So many dark spells cast upon fat people in that village. By my own family and by media, by absolutely everything around me. And so there's a 7-year-old girl writing my dad a letter shaming poor Jetta for her body, not even realizing I'm doing it. I just thought that's how you talked. Wow. So, yeah. Tricky relationship with food from the get-go. But I loved food. I loved it. And I learned, my mom, she was an amazing cook and baker. And like living in Yalapa, she's one of the only gringos, I think, that baked. She'd bake bagels and cookies. And there was a point where we were making chocolate chip cookies that I would sell on the trail with my friends. That would sell out immediately because the gringos didn't bake. And all the gringos in Yalapa pretty much were high 24/7, always with the munchies. And so, yeah, they loved my mom because she'd have fresh bagels and bread and pies and all kinds of stuff coming out of her little jungle kitchen. So there it is. And as I became more of a teenager, that's when the comments really, or not even a teenager actually, before, when I was like 11 or so, the comments are like, oh, Jade, suck it in your belly. Like, and I remember once a summer vacations, I'd come up to Tucson to stay with my dad. And I probably was like 11 or something. And I came back to Mexico and my mom's picking me up at the airport. And I vividly remember the first thing she said was like, whoa, you have gained a lot of weight over the summer. And just like, shame, because I know what that means. That means everyone's going to be talking, casting evil spells about how fat I am. And how horrible. I have gone to the evil side. And, oh my gosh, so much shame and just not even knowing what to do about it. I wasn't even aware that had happened. I had just been eating a lot of good food. My dad, he would take me out to eat to McDonald's like almost every day, which I loved because that didn't happen back in Mexico. Yeah, wasn't the healthiest thing, but I enjoyed it. And guess what? I get back to Yalapa, and I remember my best friend at the time. She too commented like, wow, you're so fat. Because that's Mexico. Like, they don't hold back. They always comment on your fatness behind your back and to your face. And I remember asking her, I was like, I am? I was flabbergasted. I was like, am I as fat as... And I said this girl's name that was in our class who was like the quote-unquote fattest girl. And everyone knew it. We all made fun of the fact that she was so fat. Ugh, horrible. I said, am I as fat as her? And my best friend said, yes. And this is like thinking back on it, like, oh my God, I wasn't even aware. I wasn't even aware that my body was quote, quote, wrong. I just had a really indulgent summer with my daddy. So within like a month or so, I was back to my normal body weight, which I still didn't think was right. But I'd lost a lot of weight because in Yalapa, we're running around and, didn't have McDonald's and ate fresh fish. And I didn't even realize it wasn't like I went on a diet or anything. It just naturally moved away from my body because I'm very active. But even I remember my best friend, Yenny, her family would eat dinner earlier than us. And so I often would be at Yenny's house and they'd be having dinner and asked me if I wanted to eat. And I said yes, because I loved how Yenny's mom praised me for how much of her beans I would eat and her tortillas, because they were very, very poor. And sometimes I'd have like fried fish that dad had caught in the ocean. And I would stuff myself because I loved seeing Esperanza so proud and happy that I ate so much of her food. And I'd be stuffed. And then I'd go home and I'd eat dinner again. 2 dinners. And my mom's dinners were always, like my stepfather was super meat and potatoes. We always like meat, potatoes, and fish, or lasagna, like good, delicious food. And I feel proud of that. But also not understanding how my body got bigger. Like, yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm trying to demonstrate here. I just want to share like how bizarre this journey, this life, this earth school, and food has been for me personally. Obviously, I used it as a people-pleasing thing, mainly. I like to people-please with eating more, which also was comforting. So that led into overeating for comfort, but also hyper-aware that being fat was to be the worst thing you absolutely could be. So then I think I just want to jump forward. I came to the States for high school, and I tried my first eating disorder with a girlfriend that was bulimic. And so I learned it from her. I tried a few times and I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. I guess I'm just going to be fat because this is horrible. And, just always aware that my body was quote unquote wrong. It was never thin enough. Always just felt like this pressure. I was like the top of my school of like 3,000 or 5,000 kids, but I was never felt like enough because my body, I always felt like I was being betrayed by my body. And my appetite was big. And I remember in high school, like I couldn't, and my dad would make fun of me. We'd get pints of Ben & Jerry ice cream sometimes. I think like every weekend we get a pint of Ben & Jerry's, and I could not just eat a little bit. I had to eat the whole thing. And my dad would like, I don't know why you can't just eat a little bit, because he'd just eat a little bit out of his and put it back in the fridge, in the freezer. But I had to eat the whole thing. Comfort, guilt, fear. Oof. All with the most essential thing in being human, which is to nourish ourselves. Of course, it got weird. And so, keep going. I moved to Taos after high school, and my partner there that I was with commented so much on my body and fatness, paid for me to go to a personal trainer, which I did like. And he really liked super rich foods, so I gained a lot of weight with him. And luckily I was very active though in Taos. I skied and I danced and I hiked, and I was still in my body, but still not really correlating how much I ate or how the food was really affecting my body. I just knew I loved food. I was also very active. And it wasn't until I moved back to Tucson when I was 27 from Taos, because I wanted to go to nursing school, because I'd already been to Africa once, to West Africa, to Guinea, West Africa, to dance, to dance with my teachers because I used to teach West African inspired dance, and I'd gone to Guinea, and I decided I wanted to become a nurse so I could go work in Guinea. I wanted to work with like Doctors Without Borders. So I moved to Tucson to go to nursing school, and my dad taught me my very first diet at 27, which is pretty good. I mean, I had disordered eating with food for so long, but finally I had the diet, and it was the Atkins diet. And my dad was on it, and he lost a ton of weight. And so we were on it together, and we did the full-on Atkins diet, and I lost a lot of weight. I did it. My first intentional diet. And that was the beginning of yo-yo delight. So I did that. I lost a lot of weight. I went back to Africa and danced really hard. When I came back, I got a partner who loved my really strong body. But as we were together, I got fatter, and he did not like that. So we broke up, which led me to another bout of disordered eating. I got really skinny. Everyone praised and clapped for me. And I got into raw veganism at that same time. And I was teaching dance at raw vegan retreats. And yeah, heavy policing of what I was eating, heavy morality around food, heavy morality, a lot of guilt for my deep cravings for sugar and like bread. It's like, I just want a tuna fish salad sandwich. I wanted it so bad. I like have dreams of tuna fish salad sandwiches. I became known for my kale salads, and I was so proud that I just made the best kale salad. And yeah, severe disordered eating cloaked in health. And the thing is, there was really good parts of that, but it was all couched in fear. And what do I know now? Well, anything we do from a place of fear, our body perceives as a predator. And so it heightens our cortisol, it heightens our stress response, it heightens a fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. I could do that same raw veganism diet from a place of love, and it would be very different, but I wasn't. I was doing it from a place of I'm not lovable if I'm fat, because that's the message I got from that partner. I was doing it from a place of fear around what it would look like if I ate something like a donut. Fear of rejection from the tribe if I ate a donut, because what raw vegan eats a donut? So much fear of not belonging. I didn't know that at the time. I know that now. So that's the thing. Anything that we do, if we do it from a place of love, that's the difference. But that's when I really started to interweave into my relationship with diet culture. And I was a full-fledged participant. And it was very unhealthy. So then I started blogging and about body, because the thing is, I loved bodies. I loved photographing bodies, massaging bodies, dancing with bodies. I love bodies, but I just was so confused about my own body, so deeply confused. And so as I started doing my own healing and my own blogging and photographing, and then I got pregnant with my son and gained a lot of weight, which now that I'm 215 pounds, a lot of weight is so cute, because it was not a lot of weight. It was the perfect amount of weight. But my dog, he's dreaming. But as I did more healing around food and my body and relationship to how I used food, I got really into intuitive eating. And intuitive eating, the way that I interpret it anyway, I mean, this doesn't mean that this is what it is, but this is how I interpret it, is like allowing your body to eat the fuck she wants. So fuck diet culture. Let's eat whatever you want. If you're hungry, eat. If you want the donut, eat it. Your body will know when it's enough. And I was like, yes, this is it. Like, I'm so done with all this super heavy policing of the things I eat. And also reclaiming like no morality around food. Like donuts are sacred. All this food is sacred. Learning how to reclaim the morality around food was so beautiful. And I ate as much as I want. But the thing is, with someone like me, I don't know when I'm intuitively full. I have a very slippery slope understanding of how to use food now. I've used food to people please. I've used food to get what I want from predators, sexual abusers. I've used food to punish myself. I've used food to be quote unquote healthier. And again, that's kind of enveloped in people pleasing because I want to be seen like everyone would. Oh my God, Jade, you eat so healthy. I loved that. I loved getting the praise that I was a quote unquote healthy eater. And I'd post photos of my kale salads, things that I loved, how people would just praise me for my healthy choices. So reclaiming the morality around food, all of it, yes. And I ate and I ate and I ate and I never knew when I was full. I ate all the donuts I wanted. I ate all the sub sandwiches I wanted. Just like, yes, girl, you can have whatever you want, baby girl. And it was so important. It was so important. Until I realized, but wait a minute. I use food like a drug. I know that I can't be hungry after I just ate a whole sandwich. No body needs that amount of food. So what's going on? Crap. But it was really hard to separate myself from intuitive eating because it's like a community. It's like, just allow yourself this. And then, yes, it's a beautiful community. But it's, again, in my opinion, similar, different, but similar, like diet culture, is covering, at least for me, that's all I can really say, at least for me, it was covering up something I needed to tend to. It was covering up something I needed to tend to. No, I don't need more donuts. I need to sit with this uncomfortableness that is making me want to reach for more donuts. Eesh, that's not fun. Donuts are so much funner. So it took me a minute. I had this great teacher, Lisa Schlossberg. She has a great podcast around mind, body, and eating. And I started listening to her. And at first I was really not into it because she's the one that first said you can use food like a drug. And I was like, really? Like, what? No, because I was, just fresh off the intuitive eating. An evangelical intuitive eater. It's like, food's not a drug. Food's innocent. Yes, food is innocent. And humans have the potential, especially this particular human, my little body human, can use food like a drug. And it took me months before I started to be curious about that. And I didn't just automatically reject what she was saying. Because to me, what she was saying just sounded like more diet culture. But it's not. It was nuanced. It's not diet culture nor intuitive eating. It's more of a curiosity into your own healing journey. And I already was into mind-body healing with back pain and migraines and all this other stuff. Of course, I need some healing around why I use food. Why I never feel full. Why I overeat and I still want to eat more. What's up with that? But I had to realize that wasn't diet culture. To be curious about that, to not bring in all the foods was not diet culture. I wasn't depriving myself. But what I did might look a little like diet culture, but it wasn't. It was coming from a loving, curious place. And that is sort of the place I've been at for the last, that's been about 6 years now. I don't eat all the things, but sometimes I eat the donut. And I do it with the wisdom I gained from intuitive eating. But also I really love the wisdom of the recipes I learned when I was a raw vegan. But now I can do these things from a loving place, and I'm still learning. Sometimes I do need to just cover up whatever it is I don't want to feel with food. I haven't gotten yet, and I feel like I'm closer than ever though, right in this moment, to being able to really be present with my fullness, really be present with the anxiety and the discomfort that I feel without grabbing some food to cover it. And all of this has to come from a loving place, though. It cannot come from like, well, this is diet culture and this is intuitive and I should. No. First of all, food is innocent. Second of all, it makes sense that I have addictive ways with food. How precious. No shame around that. Zero shame. I also love this fat body. I don't have any shame. Yeah, do I wish you looked different? I do. But that's mostly, again, I'm aware that I wish you looked different because I like how the world treats me when I'm thinner. And I understand the distinction there. I love this body. She doesn't fit the image of the most successful in our culture. That's okay. I love her no matter what anyone says, even myself. If Becky or Stacy wants to come along and criticize this body, okay. But the love will never waver for this precious vessel. I don't need to think she's the most beautiful thing ever. I can love her relentlessly. That's what I mean by that. So the last frontier for me that I've been wanting to really dive into but never really had the space because I always have to work is fasting. And I know, for me personally, I just have always known that fasting would be really good. And I have this holistic doctor friend who came for a massage and she was on a 5-day fast. And I just got so inspired. And she was telling me about all the benefits and cellular. I'm no doctor. I don't know if any of these things are true. But what I do know is that my body was like, yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. I need a break. I need a pause from eating. Can we pause? But then my other part is like, what? Fuck no, we're going to die if we don't eat. Because what's really hard for me is sitting with hunger. It feels so scary. So I knew that's like walking in to the unknown. That is walking into the dark night of soul. Into the scary unknown of sitting with my hunger. And as I say it, like, yeah, it's kind of Jedi. The scariest thing right now to me is sitting with my hunger. So I did that massage like a couple months ago and I was like, you know what? When I go in for my double hernia surgery, I'm going to fast then. I'm going to try it because I had to fast the day before anyway and take this horrible stuff that my surgeon is making me take to clear out my intestines. And I'm just going to start then. I'll start Sunday before my surgery and we're going to fast. I'm going to be in pain anyway, so let's just face the pain. And I did. And I was in so much pain that I don't even know I could really feel my hunger. But by day 3, I could start feeling my hunger. Yes, I could. And I was just so like present. Day 4 got a little trickier. I started imagining all the things I wanted to eat. And day 5, I asked my husband to go get me the ingredients to make a bone broth. And I had him make one of the best bone broths I've ever made. Oh my God. And that's what I ate. I had some delicious, and I sat at the table and no distractions, and I just ate that bone broth. And I didn't eat too much of it, and I was full. And I had a slice of this homemade sourdough bread from my friend Olivia, who owns the Sacred Dough Co. She bought me a loaf of that, so I had a little slice of that with the bone broth, and I felt so full. I was like, oh, this is what fullness feels like. This is what gratitude. Oh, this bone broth is so nourishing. Thank you. So much gratitude. So much gratitude for feeling full and like, okay, that's good. And I went back down and I laid down and I was good. The next day, I had more bone broth. And by the 3rd day, I was ready to make my favorite thing, which is tabbouleh salad. So I asked my husband to get me the ingredients and I was able to stand long enough to chop it all up and put it together. And when it was done, I poured myself a little bowl and I sat down. Same, so much gratitude. Like, oh, thank you. Oh, all these ingredients. Thank you for the ability to have energy to put all this together. And I ate that and it felt like power from before I ate it to after I ate it. Like I just was like, came like a switch flipped. It was like, bing. It was so good. Okay. And I didn't need to eat that much. And so, what is my point here? I'm still on this journey. So far, I've just been eating bone broth and quinoa and salad, and it feels perfect for now. I don't have any intense cravings at the moment, which feels very relaxing. But I also have a lot of pain that I'm tending to. And I think the pain that I used to cover with food is kind of piggybacking on this. I get to do sitting with the pain, crying, a lot of crying, inviting it out of my body. Not wishing it were different, but being with what is. I accept that I'm in a lot of pain. It's scary. Yesterday I had some anxiety that felt really scary. I sat with it. Breathe with it. All the stuff I was covering with food is still there. So I get to be patient as we slowly invite those parts to move through. It's safe to feel uncomfortable. It's safe to feel bored. It's safe to feel anything bad. And the moment doesn't feel like that. Yesterday, my anxiety, I was like, okay, maybe I'm dying. This is what I always go to with these intense anxiety attacks that feel like heart attacks. Like, okay, maybe this is it. I surrender to that. But I have so much evidence that this isn't it, so I surrender to what is. It's okay, baby girl. I just was so kind to myself and rubbing my hand over my solar plexus and circles, and it's okay. It's all right. And with a few hours, I started to feel better. It's like, see, more proof. More proof. We're not dying. We're just cleaning the emotional pipes slowly by surely, with so much patience and, most of all, a lot of bravery and trust. Even though it feels like I'm going to die. Okay, surrender. Oof. And use all the tools we want to use to help us through those moments. But at the end of the day, nothing's going to make it feel any better, my loves. It's going to still feel horrible. But thank goodness for all the tools, breath work, meditation. Let's use them. Let's use them. What is keeping us from our meditation practices? What's keeping you from doing 5 minutes of breath work today? It's not going to fix the problem because there's no cure for being human. But why not use the tools to help guide us through these really intense moments? So for me, calling myself a food addict, I do it from a place of love so I can continue to keep my awareness that I do use food in a way that isn't bad, but in a way that does hinder my expansion, my healing. Not because it's going to fix it. Healing, quote unquote, healing my relationship with food isn't going to fix this conundrum of being human. It's not. But it's going to give me further opportunity to be in tune with this body. I want to feed her in a way that feels in alignment. I want to be grateful for food and not overuse it. And when I do overuse it, that's all right too. So much love and compassion. But I feel better like right now, even though I'm in so much pain from my surgery. It's the first time in a long time I haven't had horrible gas every day. My guts, I can feel, even though there's so much pain in the incision sites. I have 5 incision sites. My guts feel so peaceful. They feel so less inflamed. That's just me. I don't know if they're I can't prove that. I just know how my body feels. So, where can you bring awareness? And that's why I also like the labels of, I feel like I'm definitely on the autism spectrum. I don't want to label myself as autistic, but bringing awareness to that part of me helps. It helps realizing that I'm on the spectrum, which I think we all are personally, but this is my life. This is what I get to do. Realizing I'm on the spectrum and all these things I do, like all these different stimming things that I do, that I'm not alone in that, is helpful. Because then I can just bring my awareness to the fact that, oh yeah, of course, these things are a little more challenging for me. Of course, it's hard for me to go shopping. Like, it's not a flaw. It's not bad. I'm in this spectrum. These things are a little harder for me. I'm going to bring my awareness there. And more than anything, I'm going to bring that kindness there. And sometimes I got to push myself a little bit. And it's uncomfortable. But we can do hard things. And other times, I got to listen and say, no, not today. Not today, Costco. Not today. Having this understanding, I'm not those things. I'm not autistic. I am not an addict. I'm me. I am this one little speck of human, this keeper of ancient intelligence in my body, this one little spirit that's interconnected with all of you. And she presents in certain ways, and to understand her helps me have more self-compassion, I think, than anything. Helps me have more self-compassion. Oh, of course you're like that, honey girl. Of course you're like that. But I don't want to attach myself to any of those things. Like, yes, I'm a food addict, but that doesn't mean anything. That just means I can bring my awareness there. Yes, I'm on the autism spectrum, but that doesn't mean anything. It just means I can bring my awareness there and self-compassion there. And also, I think most importantly, curiosity. I'm so interesting. And even like when Becky came online, being around my husband for these last week and a half, having so much compassion even for her rudeness and her, she's so annoying. And I love her. There she is again. Doesn't mean I've regressed in my healing or what's wrong with me. I thought I was over this. No, there she is again. Okay. Hey, cutie. Nice to see you again. I got this. I know you think you need to protect us. I got this, Becky. Go sit back down, girlfriend. What I actually want to desire to do is to treat this man, even though there's certain things he does legitimately annoy me, and that's valid. He has a sensitive soul, and I don't want to hurt him. With my words. With these spells, these little spells that are words. Doesn't mean I don't. I do. I mess up all the time. But, as I said, I'm not responsible for that first reaction, but absolutely 100% responsible for the second response. Well, my loves, I think I'm going to leave it there. I feel so happy that I was able to meet with you today. Thank you for listening, and thank you for doing your own beautiful expansion and healing so bravely, so bravely. All of it is divine. All of it is sacred. And I invite us to put our feet on the earth, take a deep breath through our nose. Open your mouth, exhale. Shake your hands. Breathe in through your nose. Open your mouth, stick out your tongue, exhale. Shake your hands, stomp your feet. One more. Inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, stick out your tongue. Shake your body. Roll your neck. These bodies are good bodies. There's nothing to fix. There's no cure for the human condition. There's no solving this human conundrum. But there is constant opportunity to feel more at peace in the hardest of times, to feel more at peace in the scariest of moments, to allow the joy in, because that's a thing too of us that struggle with the conundrum of being human. We don't tend to trust the joy. We must surrender to the joy as we do surrender to the pain. Not because we want to, oh no, I'm not gonna feel this joy entirely because we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. No. We invite the joy in, knowing that it is just like everything else. It comes and it goes. But let's fully lean into the joy as we lean in to the pain. Fully open our hearts. Allow yourself. Today I'm feeling so good. Wow. No, you're not going to jinx it by allowing yourself to fully embrace. Oh, yes. Allow that to penetrate every cell in your body. That is wisdom. So on those dark days, we remember this. We continue to add to that joy as we continue to heal. And when I say as we continue to heal, it's not because we're healing something that's broken. It's because the human journey is a healing journey. There's no end. I'm sorry. But that's what we get to do. We get to continue to heal. And healing also includes allowing ourselves to be damn happy. Let's be happy. What I'm happy about today, I'm going to make some protein pancakes and some bacon. Me and my husband, we're going to make that this morning. And I'm going to be joyous that it's a beautiful, cool day. I don't have the air conditioning on, and I'm going to be joyous that some of you are listening to this, and we all have our hands to the heart, and we're speaking to ourselves a little bit kinder. Even if it's just 10% kinder today, that's enough for today. Maybe you can ramp it up. Can you ramp up that self-kindness to 50%? 100% just for today. Tomorrow's another day. It's going to change. All right. Thank you so much for being here in Earth School with me, and I will see you next week. Bye.
Free flowing, sailing with the wind, not knowing how this story ends. Kind and brave, I know you'll find a way. Live your truth and good will come to you.